Welcome to another edition of Coffee with the Goose. You know, I talk about things that are interesting, fascinating, and irritating. This one could be a little emotional for you guys, so stick with me. We're going to talk boxing again, but of course we have to start with our coffee. My Java, as you know, very strong, like my opinion, and the opinion of my dog Cooper. And of course I have to have some creamer in there to make it sweet, just like me. All right, here we go. This one, depending on where you're from, if you're British, you're happy. If you're Filipino, chances are you're not going to like this. If you are interested in justice, well, you may like it. And conspiracy theories, well, this might trip your trigger too. So here we go. The WBO, you kind of expected this, right? The WBO has stripped John Real Casimero of his world bantamweight title. And there's a lot of facts that go into this. Let's unpack this, shall we? As you know, John Real Casimero had been the WBO world bantamweight titleist since 2019. But bad things just started happening. First of all, the fight that was to take place last year against his fellow Filipino countryman, Nonito Donaire, that fell through because of some bad blood between the two camps. Then he was supposed to defend his title against the number one contender, that of course Paul Butler from the United Kingdom. And that fell through in, I think, December of last year because Casimero fell victim to viral gastritis. That sounds very painful. But, you know, his critics say, well, he had a hard time making weight. Well, be that as it may, he still had to bow out of the fight, which was scheduled to take place in Dubai. So, needless to say, the Paul Butler camp was not very happy with this. They were ready for the fight. Well, they rescheduled for this year. And, again, bad things happened. John Real Casimero was overweight. That was his fault. He had to lose about 11 pounds, I believe, in the week or so leading up to the fight, which is, you know, he got himself in a bad situation. They decided that he was going to shed a lot of that weight in the sauna during fight week, and everything was hunky-dory. Well, no, things were not hunky-dory. According to the British boxing authorities, they said, no, we're not going to let you fight. You broke our rules by using the sauna to lose weight in the week of the fight. They didn't think that was a good idea. So, for the third time in less than a year, Casimero bowed out of a fight or was denied the opportunity to fight. And then the next best boxer, according to the WBO, was another Filipino, of course, Sultan. We saw that fight not long ago, and Paul Butler had an easy time with him. You know, Sultan, a great fighter, no doubt, but he just wasn't prepared for it, and Butler was. Butler, by the way, is now 34-2 on his career with 15 KOs. And again, he made it look easy. And I was not impressed in the days leading up to the fight. I was not impressed with Butler, even though he's got a great record. My issue with him was his resume. He hadn't fought anybody of note, not really. That doesn't matter because when you come to fight that night, that's all that counts. And he came to fight. He not only bested Sultan in boxing skills, and I know what you Filipino boxing fans are going to say, and I feel the same way. He was being chased. He was running. And that's really, really irritating. You know, you want your opponent to stand there and duke it out with you. Come on, be a man, right? Well, his game plan was, in the end, whether you like it or not, it worked. And it was brilliant because he frustrated Sultan in the first half of every round. And then when he kind of got the better of him psychologically, then he stood there and duked it out with him and got the better of him every which way and won that fight easily. And won the interim WBO bantamweight title of the world. So then we're waiting on the decision. What would the WBO decide now? Because they gave John Real Casimero a pass on the last would-be fight against Butler because, you got the doctor's note saying, yeah, he had viral gastritis, and WBO said, okay, we'll let that go. But, you got to get in there and fight this time, and it didn't happen. And, you can blame whoever you want. You can blame the World Boxing Association, which is in Puerto Rico, by the way, or you can blame the British boxing authorities. So now you got two different countries teamed up against you, or you can blame John Real Casimero. It's your call. Before I go too much further, I got to let you know I'm a big fan of John Real Casimero. He is a 3-division world champion. He with a record of 31-4, 21 KOs on his career. 4 aces is his nickname. And he is a wonderful fighter, a tough guy. But for some reason, these bad things just keep happening. So what's the future going to hold now? For John Real Casimero, I don't know. We'll get into that in a second. But first, let's look at Paul Butler's future. He is now, whether you agree with the decision by the WBO or not, he is the regular champion, the full champion in the WBO for the bantamweight title of the world. And now he wants a piece of the other titles, those, of course, being held by the other 2 great boxers in the bantamweight division, the Filipino Flash, Nonito Donaire, and Naoya Inoue, the monster from Japan. And they're about to do battle on June 7th in Japan. They, again, fought about 2.5 years ago, and it was an absolute war between 2 great boxers, great fighters. Inoue won the bout. He, I think, is 22-0 now with 19 KOs, and he dropped Donaire in the 11th round, and it was kind of up in the air who was going to win that fight up until that point, because Donaire stood there and gave as much as he took, and he actually broke an eye socket orbital bone fracture in Inoue, and broke his nose too. So it was a tough fight for both of these guys, but it was a unanimous decision going to Inoue, and they again will do battle in Japan on June 7th, round 2 of that war. And Paul Butler says, hey, I'm a champion now, and I want the winner of that fight. All right, well, good for you, Paul Butler. I admire him and congratulate him on his victory. He's done everything he's supposed to do. If you question the decision by the British boxing authorities and the WBO, that's your right. But you can't, with a straight face, deny Paul Butler his due. He won the title, and he deserves a shot at the other 2 belts. There's no question. But what about John Real Casimero? I talked about him in the past. And yeah, now don't come down on me. Don't kill the messenger. I just give you the facts, and you make up your mind, okay? I'm a big believer in the power of opinion based in fact, okay? And you can say, and I may or may not agree with you, a lot of these bad things that have happened to John Real Casimero are just, it's not fair. It's not fair. And his manager, by the way, said, this is BS. It's insane. He is irate over that decision. Okay, but all these things that have happened, this swirl of controversy around John Real Casimero on many occasions, whose fault is it? You had that riot in Argentina years ago. They wanted to, string him and his team up after he won a fight in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Then it's the falling out with the Nonito Donaire camp. Then it's the viral gastritis in Dubai. Then it's the sauna in Great Britain. You see, these things just keep happening. And to say, again, it's your call. I'm just giving you the facts. But whose fault is it in the end? When bad things keep happening to somebody, you got to start looking at it with a sober eye. Is it something about this guy? Is he just rubbing everybody the wrong way? And then there's the, I don't want to say sexual assault, but he's charged with some type of lewd behavior with a 17-year-old girl in a hotel room. So there's another issue. Again, the people and organizations all around the world, the Philippines, Argentina, Great Britain, Puerto Rico, is everybody just out to get this guy? Or is there something he's doing or his handlers are not doing to protect him? I don't know. Fill me in. And I know you guys, you're diehard fans of John Real Casimero. I admire his boxing skills too. I want to see him do well. Don't forget, I got more than a little Filipino blood in my household. My wife is from Cebu. So, I've lived there a short time and been there many times. So, I'm a big fan of Casimero and all Filipino fighters. But, why are these things happening to him? And is it going to stop? What's he going to do now? Sean Gibbons of PBC, I'm sorry, not PBC, but the Pacquiao camp is 100% in his corner. And very passionate about it too, defending John Real Casimero. Again, I want to see him do well. I support him. I want to see nothing but the best for him. But what's coming up next for John Real Casimero? I don't know. He now, by the WBO, has been named the #1 challenger, the #1 contender. So what does that mean? Is he going to fight? Is Paul Butler going to be required to fight him? I don't know. Is he going to, get a shot at these other titles with Nonito Donaire and Naoya Inoue? I don't know. He's got that bad blood with Donaire. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe you guys have the answers. Time will tell. But we've got that great fight coming up very soon, just a few weeks now, in Japan, and I'm really looking forward to that. And then you got Mark Magsayo, one of the other Filipino champions, who's scheduled to fight in July against Ray something or another. Rios. No. See, I wasn't ready for this. It'll come to me. Magsayo is a great fighter and a great champion too, so I'm looking forward to that fight. And all that details, I know the guy's name, it just escapes me right now. But there's a lot of things on the table this spring with Filipino champions, and the bantamweight division is what I'm concerned with now, with John Real Casimero, Nonito Donaire, Naoya Inoue, and Paul Butler. They're all players, and they're all out to get titles, so we'll keep you up to date. That's it for this edition of Coffee with a Goose. Thank you so much for joining me. And let me know what you have to think. I know you guys are passionate, you're very knowledgeable, and you have your opinions. We may or may not agree on what's happening, but I want to get your intake on this and find out what you guys think. And hopefully we'll get things settled down with Casimero, and he'll get back in the ring soon. All right? That's it for this edition of Coffee with a Goose. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.